All right, friends, I am in need of a thank you card. It's going to be a quiet crafting afternoon. I have a stress headache, so I am going to quickly film this card for you. I need a last minute card for our pediatrician, and I'm going to go ahead and get that done. So I'm going to use this really pretty thank you so much plate. I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. And let's go ahead and start by grabbing a paper trimmer, and we're going to trim down these pieces. Pardon my coffee in the corner. I'm doing my best to get rid of this headache as I'm trying to get my to-do list accomplished. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take these paper strips and I'm going to trim them down into 1/2-inch pieces. So grab your scraps. This is a wonderful scrap buster, and I am going to honestly eyeball it. So these are all Concord and 9th colors. I'll be sure to link their cardstock down below. I use it pretty much exclusively. I think it's just beautiful paper. And I'm going to make sure I have some nice long strips because I want it to span my entire card. My plan is to do a landscape card, but we'll see how it all plays out. And now I'll bring in some 80-pound cardstock. I think that looks great. And let's go ahead and just place this right on my mat. That way nothing shifts while I work with it. And I am going to try and get that lined up on an inch line because I'm wondering if I can use my mat to help me line up all of my pieces. Okay, so I have 7 pieces here. Is that correct? Or is it 8? I think I have 8. And I just need to see where I need to start and stop. And that is the one great thing about having a craft mat like this is you can use it for the math. It really helps. Okay, so I want to do then this. Okay, and that. And it will almost span my entire card, but not quite. It's going to be a very colorful card. Okay, just getting a rough idea. Very neat. Okay, pretty. So it looks like I just have a little less than 1/4 of an inch up there. I'm going to grab that piece and glue it down. Okay, what I think I'll do is add the glue here. Oops, grab my pin. There we go. And again, 1/2-inch strips. Oops, got a little on the top, but that's going to be just fine. I think that should be about good. Okay, make sure it's nice and lined up. Okay, let me press that down. I think we're straight. And now I'm going to take a little coffee and quiet time, and I'll just get all of these paper strips all placed down. I think that piece that I had wasn't necessarily square, so it was kind of messing up the alignment. I think that's better. Okay, I didn't want it to mess up the rest of the alignment on the card, so better to stop there. Might have just had a maybe crooked cut from the last time I used that particular piece of paper. But I think we should be a little bit better there. Okay, so there are my paper pieces. I feel like I don't have perfect alignment here. This is a little higher, but you know what? I'm giving myself some grace. This is made out of love and appreciation, so I think it's going to be just fine. Now I'm going to trim these pieces off so that this just spans my panel. Okay, let's do, I'm going to turn it over so I can see this side. You can keep all of these scraps, especially if you like to work with paper strips like I do. I will absolutely be able to use these in future cards. Okay, move it over just a tad. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so there is our final panel. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now I'll save my little scraps. I'm going to use 100-pound cardstock here, and I'm going to cut this out 3 times. And the reason I'm doing 100-pound cardstock is because I would like to have pretty instant dimension, just a little less work. So I think that'll be just about perfect. Okay, so let me run this through my die cutting machine. But what I'll do is trim this apart so that I don't have any of my cutting plates that are kind of worn right now. I don't want that to give an impression in this beautiful cardstock. Okay, here are my cutting plates. Place my little piece in there. And we'll send this first one through. Okay, one's all done. Let's see how that cut out. Oop, it's clinging to my, oh, look at that. Ugh. All right, this is a die that we're gonna use again for sure. I feel like I am so inspired by this. Oh, how neat is that? Okay, I'm gonna grab my nesting circle die. In fact, I think I'm only gonna cut this out once, and I'll add some dimension with some foam squares, but I want to make this a circle. I think it would be so neat. I think that looks good. Let me tape that down. And I'll send that through. Okay, and gently with my tape, let me pop out my die cut. Okay, and there is my cut. Isn't that neat? Okay, let's pause here and just see how this is looking on the card. Okay, so how neat is this looking? I'm loving this, and I can't decide what I want to do. I want to also see what it would look like if I'm gonna trim this down about 1/2 inch. Let's try. I'm just gonna get an idea for a measurement here. I'm gonna trim this down 1/2 inch. It's just gonna be trial and error here. Yeah, I think this could be really cool. Actually, let me trim this down 1/4 inch. Okay. And then let's trim like at least 1/2. Oh gosh, at least like 1. Let's just see what this looks like. Oh yeah, I think this is going to be really neat. Okay, let's do something like this. Okay, I'm trying to decide, and I think what I want to do is take my A2 panel, 4 1/4, 5 1/2, take the 5 1/2 and cut down a full inch. So I'm going to have 4, let's see, 4 1/4 by 4. Is that right? No, 4 1/4 by 4 1/2. Okay, and then it will look something like this. And I can further trim that down if I want, but I think that's going to be plenty. Or should I, let me do 4 1/4. 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. That way this is a complete square. Yeah, that's a better design choice, I think. This is a complete square. Okay, now let's do our die cut. So then, now this, I'm going to keep this because I think that would be a really cool idea. So I'll keep this in the little sleeve of the product that I have, and we'll use that next time. So now I want to do it so that, now this has to be perfect on here because this is going to be my actual panel. So I think I want it to read like this: thank you so much. Okay, get that really centered. And I think that looks good to me. Now, a little tape. And there we go. Okay, and now this is actually going to be my panel. So what I'm going to do is place another piece of cardstock over it so that my cutting plates, where they're all cut, that doesn't give an impression in my panel. And I think that's a big enough piece. It should be just fine. Okay, and because I put a piece of paper on there, it protected my paper. Oh, it's stuck to it because the die has a little sticky from being put in the packaging. Okay, that's fine. But let me carefully remove this tape, and I can keep the letters for another project. Okay, there we go. Take this off. Oh, that looks really good. Okay, so then this piece will go and hover like this. I like that. I think that's really fun. I think that's more of the look I'm going for. Now, I'm wondering, I'm wondering if I should do one of these in the middle. I kind of like the big hugs. And I like how it kind of looks with, you know, like the H is kind of hugging that S. I think I like it. Let me try stamping on some acetate. That way I don't ruin my panel if I end up not liking it. So what I'll do is bring in my Misty, bring my panel in, get this placed just so. I think I like how that looks. Attach that. And then let me just grab, I'm just going to grab some of the packaging that I just took some of those stamps out of. I'll just set it right on there. Condition the stamp. That way this just stamps onto the acetate, but we get a clear view, obviously, right, of what it would look like. Now it's going to look a little marbly just because it's not going on paper, it's going on acetate, but we'll get a general idea of what that would look like. Ooh, you know, I really like it, but I also want it to be super simple. So I am actually going to keep this plain because I think the simplicity of it plain will be a little bit more my style. So let's get this on a card base. And really, you could do your paper piecing on the card base, all of your paper strips, but I was in that mode of kind of crafting and creating as the inspiration was kind of flowing, so I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the card, which is why mine's on a little panel. Okay, here we go. And what I'll do, in fact, I'm going to bring my score buddy back in because I want to line this up just right. But let me put some tape right on the back of this panel, and then I'll just attach this to my card base. Then we'll just build everything up from there. Okay. Plenty of tape, just because that makes me feel good. And speaking of feeling good, I'm sure you can hear it in my energy. I finally beat that headache. That was really a lot today. Okay, so coffee kicked in. Let's do, so if I nudge this in the corner, right, then I can line this up as well, place that down, and then there we go. And there is the card with the panel. I think that's really cool. And then just open that up. And let me know what you would do. Would you have put the little stamp in the middle? Let me know. I don't know. It wouldn't be a bad choice. It just wasn't giving me what I was wanting out of this card. Okay, I'm gonna go around and just do some foam squares, obviously in the corners, and then I'll go in the middle just to really bump this up because I think that shadow that it's going to offer is gonna be really neat. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab my tiny little scissors. Oh, I already have one trimmed there, but I'll trim some of these in half. That way I can just put a skinny one in this little area as well. I know it's a little much with the foam dots, or foam squares, but I really want that to be durable, and I think that looks pretty awesome. Okay, I love that. Now I'll probably use my Score Buddy once more to line everything up. Okay, put those all to the side, and I think the Score Buddy again is going to be the way to go. So we'll bring this right back in. Now it'll be upside down, but I think we can kind of get an idea of what we're doing here. So just need to align the top and the bottom at this point to make sure that's equal, which I think that is. So there we go. Well, that was easy. Okay. And then that's how that looks. I think that's really cool. I like that. And I like the simplicity of it not having anything in the middle. We'll give a little bit of embellishment. Oh, I should have put a little, I can actually. I have these. Shoot, I was going to do that. What can I do to help me with that? I'm going to very gently grab, and oh, I think I'm going to need that to be smaller. Maybe I'll cut that in half at the diagonal. Okay. And then remove that and place that down. Okay, there we go. And I'll just do the same to the other O. So if you recreate this, make sure you do your little O's while this piece is upside down. That way you're not risking it like I am. Oops, oh goodness. Completely risking it. So let's see. All right, I think that looks good. And you could probably do the same for the C. I think it's gonna be okay though. All right, really liking that. Okay, back open. I feel like we've opened and closed this card quite a bit, and keeping it simple with some dewdrops. I really actually like the negative space here. I think sometimes we want to fill everything that's blank, and sometimes good design is knowing when to just keep some good negative white space for the eye. And it's busy everywhere else with the color, that a nice simple white panel with a lot of negative space on there is really, I think, going to be a little bit more impactful. But you know what, when we did that little test with the stamp, it still looked super cute. So if you decide to add something to the center, I think it'd be really fun. Okay, I am loving that. It's kind of giving a little cascade from the upper left to the bottom right, but also giving a little interaction with the middle of that circle there. So let me go ahead and place all of those down. Right, final two. I love it. I think it's really fun. And it gives it a little bit of, I don't know what this is, but I like it. Okay, final card, really simple. And I love the dewdrops because they don't distract at all from all of the color, but they give it something. So there's the final card. I really like that. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for helping me get rid of my little headache. Sometimes a little coffee, crafting, and chatting. I guess that's the 3 C's, right? I think that sometimes is just the perfect medicine. Please be sure to let me know how you enjoyed this card down below. Give it a thumbs up if you had fun watching this all come together, and I'll see you next time.